Good day, everyone. Good day, class. I hope that everyone is happy and everyone is healthy. So, for today, we will discuss about the instructional design models. So, our objectives for today's lesson is to identify the different types of instructional design models and to know the importance of instructional design models. An instructional design model provides guidelines to organize appropriate pedagogical scenarios to achieve instructional goals. Instructional design can be defined as the practice of creating instructional experiences to help facilitate learning most effectively. And according to Driscoll and Carliner, they state that design is more than a process, and that process and resulting product represent a framework of thinking. Instructional design models describe how to conduct the various steps. These steps involve instructional design process. The models help trainers and educators to guide and plan the overall process. Instructional design models also have its history. So the field of instructional design officially dates back to World War II, when America's war effort demanded a highly effective and methodological approach to training vast numbers of people. In the years following the war, new efforts to identify the underpinning of how people learn and use such insights to create effective learning frameworks emerge. Today, instructional design is at the heart of the vitally important trend in education and training. Formalized instructional design processes are being utilized across higher education, the corporate world, and government to help people learn essential information and skills quickly, effectively, and at scale. These processes are increasingly found in technology-enhanced virtual environments in addition to more traditional face-to-face instruction. Okay, class, you might ask what are the different instructional design models. Actually, there are 20, more than 20 of it, but we will only discuss 5 instructional design models today, and their meaning will be discussed on the next meeting. Okay, so the 5 instructional design models that we will tackle for today are ADDIE model, Bloom's taxonomy, Assure model, Merrill's principles of instruction, and SAM model. Our first instructional design model to be discussed will be the ADDIE model. It is the generic process traditionally used by instructional designers and training developers. And the 5 phases are the analysis, design, development, implementation, and evaluation. And these represent a dynamic, flexible guideline for building effective training and performance support tools. In the analysis phase, instructional problem is clarified, and the instructional goals and objectives are established, and the learning environment and learners' existing knowledge and skills are identified. So there are some questions that are addressed during the analysis phase. Who is the audience and their characteristics? Identify the new behavioral outcome and what types of learning constraints exist. What are the delivery options? What are the online pedagogical considerations? And lastly, what is the timeline for project completion? In the design phase, it deals with learning objectives, assessment instruments, exercises, content, subject matter analysis, lesson planning, and media selection. The design phase should be systematic and specific. Systematic means a logical, orderly method of identifying, developing, and evaluating a set of planned strategies targeted for attaining the project's goal. Specific means each element of the instructional design plan needs to be executed with attention to details. The development phase is where developers create and assemble the content assets that were created in the design phase. Programmers work to develop or integrate technologies. Testers perform debugging procedures. The project is reviewed and revised according to any feedback given. During the implementation phase, a procedure of training the facilitators and the learners is developed. The facilitator's training should cover the course curriculum, the learning outcomes, the methods of delivery, and the testing procedures. Preparations of the learners include training them on new tools and students' registration. This is also the phase where the project manager ensures that the books, hands-on equipment, tools, and softwares are in place, and the learning applications or website is functional. In the evaluation phase consists two parts, the formative and the summative. The formative evaluation is present in each of the ADI process. Summative evaluation consists of the test design for domain-specific criterion-related reference items and providing opportunities for feedback for the users. Our second instructional design model is Bloom's taxonomy. So Bloom's taxonomy was created by Benjamin Bloom in 1956, published as a kind of classification of learning outcomes and objectives that have, in more than half-century since, and been used for everything from framing digital tasks and evaluating apps to writing questions and assessments. So there are 6 levels of Bloom's taxonomy. The first level is to remember or recall facts and basic concepts. The example of activities that we can apply in a remembering level is memorizing a poem, recalling state capitals, and remembering math formulas. And the second level is to understand or explain ideas and concepts. Some examples of activities that we can apply in understanding level is organizing the animal kingdom based on a given framework, and also illustrating the difference between a rectangle and a square, and summarizing the plot of a simple story. And the third level is to apply or use information in a new situation. The example of activities that we can apply in application level is using a formula to solve a problem, or selecting a design to meet a purpose, and reconstructing the passage of a new law through a given government or a system. The fourth level is to analyze or draw connections among ideas. So some examples of activities that we can apply in analysis level is identifying the parts of democracy, explaining how the steps of the scientific process work together, and identify why a machine isn't working. And the fifth level is to evaluate or justify a stand or decision. So the activities that we can apply in evaluation level is make the third instructional design model is Assure model. Assure model is a procedural guide for planning and delivering instructions that integrates technology and media into the teaching process. It also refers to a systematic approach of writing lesson plans that helps teachers in organizing instructional procedures. This model encompasses of 6 major steps in an instructional planning process. The first step is to analyze learners' general characteristics. This is a description of the class as a whole. This includes such information as the number of students, grade or age level, and socioeconomic factors, as well as their exceptionalities and cultural or ethnic and other types of diversity. The second step is state objectives. Statements describing what the learner will do as a result of instruction. The third step is select methods, media, and materials. This is the step where the instructor will build the bridge between the audience and the objectives. You need to decide what method you will primarily use. The fourth step in Assure model process is utilize methods, media, and materials. Plan of how you are going to implement your media and materials. For each type of media or materials, select and describe in detail how you are going to implement them into your lesson to help your learners meet the lesson's objective. And the fifth step is to require learner participation. Describe how you are going to get each other actively and individually involved in the lesson. The sixth and the last step is evaluate student performance. The evaluation should match the objective. Some objectives can be adequately assessed with a pen or a pencil and paper test. The next instructional design model is Merrill's principle of instruction. In his study of instructional design theories and models, educational researcher David Merrill identified and focused on these 5 principles: the problem-centric, activation, demonstration, application, and integration. Problem or task focus. Merrill said, truly effective learning experiences are rooted in problem solving. Problem solving learning experiences are a practical use of a learner's time and money. Many instructional designers believe problem-centered programs are a more ethical design choice because they are of more value to the learner. Learners relate to the subject because it's a relevant problem that captures their interest and engages their curiosity. Next is activation. Activate the learner's existing knowledge on the topic or their memory of an experience related to the topic. Related new information to the existing knowledge or memory. Help them make connections and build new knowledge upon what they already know. Demonstration. Merrill said educators must show versus tell. At this phase, learners are watching, not yet doing. The learners must observe the process and see how it works in real life. Depending on the topic, you can use videos, real-life demonstrations, infographics, or role-playing. In application, Merrill believed answering multiple choice, short answers, or matching questions which rely on a learner's memory isn't sufficient for the application aspect of learning. He believed learners should actually do what they're learning in the context of real-world problems. Finally, in integration, the learner must transfer and integrate the new knowledge into their life. Help the learner define how they will apply their new knowledge at work. Our last instructional design model is SAM model. Where ADDIE is slow and steady, SAM, or short for Successive Approximation Model, is fast and furious. It is a leading example of the industry trend toward iterative design and delivery frameworks now being used to meet the need for speed in the fast-growing world of instructional design. The 3 key phrases include preparation, iterative design, and iterative development. So according to e-learning industry, SAM serves as a rapid design and development model that uses short and agile steps to create holistic and flexible projects. And this enables designers to test their course early and often and be agile to revisions based on user feedback. Okay, class, we are done with our 5 instructional design models for today. And on the board, we have 4 questions. So if I call your name, just answer as much as you can. Okay? Question number 1, I want Andre to answer the question. Okay. The question is, what does ADI stands for? Okay, thank you so much. So ADI is an acronym that stands for the 5 key stages of the instructional design process: the analysis, design, development, implementation, and evaluation. It is arguably the most important and influential instructional design model. Thank you so much, Andre. Okay? Okay, for our question number 2, may I ask Sam to answer this question? How is SUM, or short for Successive Approximation Model, different from ADI in instructional design? Okay, thank you so much for your answer. So SUM is a leading example of the industry trend toward more rapid, iterative design and delivery frameworks now being used to meet the need for speed in the fast-growing world of instructional design. Thank you. Okay. For question number 3, please answer Michael. The question is, why are instructional design models important? Okay, thank you so much for your answer. That's a very great answer. So, following an instructional design model grounded in principles that Okay, for our last question, may I ask Alan to answer the question? Is it okay with you? Okay, so the question is, how old is the field of instructional design? Okay, thank you so much. That's a very good answer. So, instructional design traces its roots to World War II, when America's war effort demanded a highly effective and methodological approach to training vast numbers of people, now increasingly referred to as learning design or learning experience design. Today, it is a fast growing field with new career opportunities in higher education, government, and business world. Okay, class, thank you so much for your participation, and I've seen that you identify the different types of instructional design models. So I'll be sending some activities on our Google Classroom related to our topic for today. So thank you so much, and class dismissed.